Greetings and salutations. This is Derek with Taylor Whips. Today I wanted to discuss the information that I have regarding the situation involving the import of kangaroo leather into the United States and what we can do about it. Now, as of 7 days ago, that would be August 25th of 2025, the Australian government has temporarily halted exporting parcels to the United States, as the newly instated tariffs have yet to clarify information on when additional duties will be collected, by whom, how those funds will be sent to the correct governing bodies, etc. And so until those things are clarified, the Australian government has halted the exportation of goods over $100. Unfortunately, this leaves many whip makers in the United States without the ability to get hides to make their products with. A complicating factor is the proposed Kangaroo Protection Act of 2025, as set forth by Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, which would both ban the import of kangaroo into the United States, as well as the production of kangaroo products for trade. As the law reads, this applies to the production of kangaroo for trade, meaning the creation of new items to be sold and the continued selling of items, but it does not apply to the possession or usage of items that already exist in the United States. Those would not be prohibited. If it were to become law, it would take effect 180 days after it was signed. This would give whip makers some time to fulfill their current orders and to make the necessary adjustments to be in line with the new law. While it is uncertain if this bill would pass in both the House of Representatives and the Senate before being signed by the President, it has unfortunately made the future of kangaroo and kangaroo whip making uncertain in the United States. It's hard not to feel personally attacked by this bill, because I'm one of many makers who uses kangaroo leather as an integral part of my livelihood. As a matter of fact, it feels like I and people like me have become a target, and it isn't just the makers who would be adversely impacted by this law, because ranchers, performers, collectors, actors, film productions, and many other disciplines rely on kangaroo leather for their livelihoods, to say nothing of the other leather workers, cobblers, hobbyists, and anyone else who uses it. Now, as I mentioned, as of September 1st, 2025, this bill has not yet been signed into law. If it were to pass, unfortunately, it wouldn't be the first time that the import of kangaroo had been banned in the United States. From 1973 to 1981, there was an embargo on the import of kangaroo leather, which led David Morgan to make the early 450 series whips out of kip skin instead of the industry standard and industry preferred kangaroo. Now, nobody is more aware of the effects of that embargo than the whip makers, and I sincerely hope that it doesn't happen again. However, if it did, somehow whip making would go on. In the meantime, where it hasn't been made law, the only restriction is on the new duties and getting the hides into the United States. Richard Tubman has remained our best advocate for kangaroo products, the absolute legend that he is, and we are working on clarifying the information on the new expectations, including the obtaining of the correct United States Fish and Wildlife permits to allow the importation of kangaroo skins, and whatever else might be required to keep the supplies coming to whip makers who depend on them. When we are sure of who needs a license and which license it is, as well as any other requirements that need to be met, that information will be made public as far and as widely as we can possibly make it. If for some reason we aren't able to get kangaroo leather for quite some time, I want to put a plug in for other materials that can be made into whips. If the worst did happen, and for the foreseeable future kangaroo was not allowed in, we can still make good whips. Things like nylon paracord, Dyneema, Kevlar, Dacron, Spectra, Dyna-X, alum tan latigo, deer hide, and even cowhide can all be used to make really, really good whips. In parts of Europe, the popular material for making whips has been hemp or jute or linen that has all been spun into rope, either into a single tapered rope or many that are braided together just like we would braid with something of another material. Those who use materials other than kangaroo are the product of many generations of other whip makers who have had to make do with what they've been able to get. It might not be ideal, but it may just be enough to keep the lights on. Truth be told, it breaks my heart that in the current situation, some of my fellow craftsmen have had to put a stop to, a pause, or even leave the discipline. It breaks my heart to see my friends and some of the best craftsmen from around the world get desperate and not know how they're going to make ends meet. I wish that we didn't have to endure this. But I won't give up, and I hope you won't give up either. Art is the reason why we live, and few things are as beautiful a concert between materials, knowledge, vision, and skill, and love for life as whips are. In the description and on my Facebook page, I will leave links to information on the ethical harvesting and use of kangaroo as sponsored by the Australian government, the 2025 to 2029 environmental management plans as posted by the state of South Australia, which has a lot of great and current information on how and why kangaroo harvesting is a necessity and beneficial to the Australian environment, as well as the text of the proposed Kangaroo Protection Act bill and the script that I've used to petition my government representatives to oppose that bill. When I know more about the type of permit required to import kangaroo skins into the United States, I'll link that too. I wish I had more to give, but I hope that this helps. More than that, I hope that you recognize and feel that you are a valued member of this community and that your contributions matter. I'm here to stay, and I hope that you'll stay too. Stay tuned, and I hope to see you all soon.